Today we will be learning how to create a app that will control our circuit playground. First thing we're going to do is go to projects, which would be at the top of your toolbar. And once you get to projects, you're not going to see any projects because we haven't made one yet. You're going to click on the App Lab to create a project. When we get our App Lab, this is where we're going to see all of the things that we can do. So there's a couple of options of things that we first have. The first thing that you have to do is we have to develop or create our screen. We always have and start off with one screen. So we're going to make real simple. If we want to create additional screens, we can add more screens. We'll talk about that. But what we're going to do is if we go to the Design tab, this is where we can create or have different screens or things that we want to do. So I'm going to create a new screen, and I'm going to change the ID of this screen to call this one button screen. Right? So this is going to be what we're going to call it. So the ID is important because that's what's going to be on the back end, what we're going to code or program. What's on the front end or the text and stuff would be where we want to be. So I can change the theme, give it a different color, different things. I can bring images in if I want to upload images of what I want to put in here. I want to put an image in here. I would upload the image that I would like to choose. If there was something that I would like to upload or file, I could put an image in here to change the background. I'm not going to put an image in here. I am going to actually put a text box. So we'll put a text box in here, and in the text I'm going to put "You pushed me." For you push this button that we have created. So I've got this. I'm going to change this back to screen 1, and I'm going to call this home so that I know that this is my home screen. Just to make it so it's a little different, I'm going to change the color of it. And what we are going to do is we're going to put a couple of buttons on here. Our first button is going to turn an LED on, and the second button is going to change our screen. And so what I'm going to do is we are going to put a button. So I'm going to hold and drag in a button. And what I've got here is the ID will change what we want it to be called. So I'm going to call this the screen button. And in the text, I'm going to call this, I'm going to say this is going to be next screen. Okay. My other button that I am going to put in, I'm going to create a second button that I'm going to drop in here, and I'm going to call this button LED on the back end, and we're going to do here, we're going to say LED button is what we're going to call this, just so that I have got it. Okay, so I've got my LED button here. So now what we're going to do is I've got my two buttons and I've got two screens. I've got a home screen and I've got a button screen. And so what I'm going to do with my home screen now is I'm going to have to write some code for it. So we're going to go back to the code. So the first thing that we do is we design our app. What's our app going to do that's going to control our stuff? And so now what we're going to do is we're going to have to pull in a couple of different things. So the UI controls, or the yellow buttons, are all the things that are going to help with our design or the graphical interface, or what are the events or the things that we are going to do. What are the things that are going to take place? The data tools are if we are trying to get information or get records from people. Control are going to be our loops and our repeats, and we're going to talk about those things. Variables we're going to set up or create if you're going to create a game, or what do we want our variables to do, much like what we've done with other things. We create a variable for LEDs or things of that nature. Canvas, this is where our canvas is going to give us our what are we going to do with our playground. What we also have to do here is, for the very first time, we want to hit the settings and we want to hit enable the maker toolkit. Right? And what we are going to do is we're going to hit enable, And that is going to give us a new set that is the same color. It's the pink as the canvas, but now you have the pink, which is the circuit. These are all of the onboard commands for your circuit playground. So it gives you everything that you've got for your circuit playground. Yesterday we played around with the LED on, off, your blink, toggle. This right here are your color LEDs and the different things that we can do with the color LEDs. We have our buzzers, we have the accelerometers, the buttons, the light sensors, temp sensors, and the toggle switches, the toggle switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an event that we are going to bring in this on event. The first thing we have to do is what's our event. So we're going to do on our one that's the button screen, which is what I called this one here. So I call this button screen. If I forget, if I go to design and I click on that button, this is going to be ID screen is what that ID is. That's going to be my screen. So what I need to do is go back. I actually got that wrong. So that's going to be screen is my button. When I click it, now what I can do is if you can do for when the mouse or keyboard, but when I click that button, what do I want to have happen? What I'm going to have happen is I'm going to say I'm going to have one of my color LEDs. I'm going to say that I want LED number 2 is going to go on. Actually, no, this is not my button screen. Excuse me. This was going to be to change my screen. So I'm going to go back to my user interface controls, and I'm going to do the set screen right here, set screen, and I am going to change this to button screen. So when I hit that button, it's going to change to the button screen. I'm going to add another on event for my second button to say, okay, and these don't necessarily have to be connected in any way, shape, or form because we just have them out here. They naturally are going to get there. When I hit the LED button and I click it, then I'm going to have my circuit playground. I'm going to set my color LED, and I'm going to change the color. This is where I can set the color to what I want the color to be. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this red, and this is going to be LED number 3. And then what I want to do is color LED 3 is going to be on. Right, so I'm going to change the color to red and turn it on. So when I hit the run button, my board is not working. This is good, so we can work our troubleshooting steps. So I unplug it, replug it in, didn't work. I'm going to go to the setup instructions to make sure that I have the app, which I need to install here real fast because I just got a new PC. And we make sure that this is installed and working, and then we'll go back and check again. Oh, it's asking for my information. All right, let's try this again. There it is. So now I'm running. I hit the next screen. It sent me to my next screen, but I don't have a button that I set up to go back to my home screen. And then I'll run this again. I'll hit this LED button, and that LED you can't see, but the LED came on my circuit. Your goal for today is to create an app that will make something happen on your circuit playground, and go through a series, go through change a screen. So just learning how to create an app and create events that are triggered by button pushes on the app.